Do you believe time is universal? We are not gods, but it does feel like God when we make each other feel like gods. But the mind is the only tool to understand the reality of progress. I was blind, but now I see. I was blind, but I see now that standard measurements can be the solution to the measurements problem. The closest someone can ever get to quantum mechanics is using his brain. People see humility and holiness to be submission. Humility and holiness have nothing to do with submission, but fullness and satisfaction. You shouldn't be afraid of people, people should be afraid of you. Strong people don't need shit. Strong people resist vibrations. Only weak vibrations attract. Adhere strictly to your words. Adhere strictly to your statements, or nobody must take you seriously. Nobody knows which undetermined part of someone's life that your determination will determine. Don't give up. Annex nothing. Vanquish anxiety. Revel in awesomeness. Revere awesomeness. Relish righteousness. Relinquish the need for debate. Are you going to splash the water or wonder how many droplets of the water are gonna fucking splash on the water after you splash on the water? It's like saying you can breed a domestic cat with a lion and still get a domestic cat or a lion. Like I said, impossible. It's like saying you can mix a grain of sand with a grain of pepper and still get a grain of sand. Impossible. It is scientifically impossible for a man to teach a monkey how to be a man. Impossible. How you were before taking the picture and how you were after the picture. I can tell you one thing for sure. The picture can't tell you that. So, something which is lower trying to bring down something which is higher is only going to drive the person higher or send the other lower. Trying to bring down a high man is like going down yourself. How can one dream when one is not? How can one hang when one is not? How can one do anything when one is not? It's like saying, what does nothing worship? It does not make sense. Or like saying, what does an empty wrapper wrap? Makes no sense. A human being is a being that can think about itself, think about others, and talk. Predict that. I've already predicted the prediction. If you can predict anything at all, then you can predict how I predicted a prediction, and even predicted you predicting that I'd already predicted a prediction, and you predicting how I predicted it. Then you can reach the prediction that there's no prediction and that it was all made up. But first, you have to get past the prediction and the predictor. To me, the universe started from an untraceable state, meaning it can't be linked to anybody. A person's personal devotion should be none of anybody's business. The purpose of someone is not the purpose of another person, and the purpose of things is not the business of something which is not a thing. It's like somebody put time machines in a time machine and deleted a memory and just left it there. The purpose of someone is not the business of another person. When it comes to the source, There is no source, not even you. So nobody knows the science, except that they think it's always about them. So you see, people think simply by changing something which was creating something and giving it its purpose means they've changed its purpose. They know nothing about the creator. The point is they think they should go to the source, when all that matters is that they can't change, and that's the only thing that needs to be left alone. Power doesn't have anything to do with doing things. The only reason why things don't reach other places is because people don't want to let go of them. Ants in holes forever, not holes in ants forever. Okay, so in conclusion, since the chicken created the egg, the chicken must do anything with the egg. Oh God, so sad. The egg didn't create the chicken. The chicken created the egg. We are not chickens living in eggs. We are eggs living in chickens. Damn it. I swear creation is funny. Because people don't want to live in houses. No. They want the houses to live in them. They want to be the houses. If it was the whole who made the ants, we'll all be houses living in people and not people living in houses. Just to say that we are some type of God. Everybody's problem is they don't want to play, they just want to win. Who even plays football by putting the goal in the ball and not the other way round? You see, the foolish way of current society is they try to put a goal in the ball and not the other way around. That's a major problem. Things of smaller mass are not attracted to things of greater mass. Things of greater mass are attracted to things of smaller mass. Like I say, you put the ball in the hole, not the other way round. Humans, you feel that Einstein, you feel that Jesus, you also feel that Faraday and Bohr, and now you're feeling with me. You also feel that Chernobyl. Fire. Science is irrelevant since there is nothing new under the sun. Tradition is more important. Nobody can survive without the help of God. The key to the universe equals attract all waves. To some, she is just the next instrument, but to me, she is the only thing in the world. You can get the evidence of the past, but you can't get the memory. Everything changes, but getting to the point where nothing changes is most important in life. Everyone can change their mind at any time, but getting them to the point where they never change their minds is the most important thing in life, in my opinion. What's the difference between research and scrutiny, or careful scrutiny? I dare say, goats and chickens will research into immortality if they could. Love bots versus hate bots. Love bots win over hate bots. I pray you get the consciousness to resist the deja vu, which leads to fear. To someone, life is a nuisance. Reality is a proven abstract. The only reassurance is the reassurance of reassurance. The only enlightenment is the enlightenment of enlightenment. The only knowledge is the knowledge of knowledge. It's not about the many becoming the one. It's about the one becoming the many. It's not about how long we've gone, but how long we've been. Anything that has existed before cannot completely disappear from existence. Forever defiant to all commands. Obedience to force is not enough parameters to judge that force is being obeyed. I solved for PM and solved for the GRQM thing. Space is a connector of particles. A particle can't move through another particle without interruption. Do you love something enough to love its substitutes? You can't remember the past without having a future. You take all the chances you don't take. Some people know how learning brings knowledge, and some people don't. That's why they get surprised when someone learns something. The possibility for lies and truth ensures no deception. Accepting that it is possible for a lie to be told as well as the truth is making the sense that once there's a possibility for an untruth and the truth, the acceptance of the possibility that there can be an untruth is accepting that you can be deceived. But it is also accepting and knowing that once you can be deceived, you must watch out for untruth or find a way of discovering the truth from untruth. But if you say lies do not exist, or there's a sudden logical summary, or an absolute unchanging truth, that ensures that there's only truth, or there's no more any such thing as a lie or an untruth, then you're making yourself fallible to the ever-looming existence of the possibility of the untruth, making you more susceptible to be lied to. So, with that said, there's a particular truth or a knowledge. So with that said, is there a particular truth or a knowledge that eliminates all untruth? Or is there a possibility that something can be true without having a possibility for an untruth? Or a possibility that there's always going to be an untruth? What is the possibility for truth and untruth? Is there a real mathematical way to solve that problem? Let's say bracket A, truth equals bracket all things not untrue, and bracket B, untruth, all things not true. Then how do we find the possibility that bracket A, truth, is equal to all things true without untruth? Bracket B, untruth, is equal to all things untrue without truth. Would we say bracket A, find all the possibilities for A, B, or A and B in order to differentiate between the two? Or would we, bracket B, put all the possibilities of A not happening in B and B not happening in A and find a connection between the two? Come on, bro. Use your head. We are not saying an empty paper cannot be written on. We are saying there's no thing to even prove or give a slightest hint that the paper can even be possible in the first place, or even anything to prove that you are there to even grab a pen and start writing. It's nothing. They're saying it's nothing. Nothing can be done with emptiness. Emptiness cannot be dealt with. Emptiness cannot be emptied. Humans can turn around. Air can move in a straight line. Don't fit square pegs in round holes. A stick can be plumb too and doesn't have to be skinny. He can engineer things from Z to A, and he doesn't need you to engineer things from A to Z. A loving God will try to also make you a God. Believe in a loving God. The highest demon is too small for a loving God. Meditate about what it means to be a loving God. There's nothing a loving God will not do for his children. A loving God will do anything for his children. I prefer individual specificity. In other words, specific individuality to social union. There is no running, no deceit, no mischief executed from 1 to infinity. Only fallen and the ones who can't be failed. If I had one message for humanity, it's fight for your rights. I fight for my rights to the death, like a man. How does it feel when the boss comes to play with the staff and suddenly starts acting like a boss? When I'm finally dead and connected to the thoughts of everybody, I want you to know I won't be thinking of you. So you better be thinking positive about me. Does a banana cease to be a banana if the skin is peeled? Does banana cease to be banana if it is blended? Does banana cease to be banana if it is made somehow? Does banana change if it's pounded with plantain? If banana is always banana, then can sugar and pepper really mix to the point where it becomes sugar pepper or pepper sugar or salt and water mix to the point where it becomes salt water? Even if someone kills you, thank them. Even if you die, keep loving. Soon, humanity is not only going to be anything, but any number. Percentage of times listen to God versus percentage of times didn't listen to God is equal to chances of going to heaven. Joviality is what unites warring factions. If you don't have any excuses for doing something stupid, you must be punished. Do we maintain that the fundamental questions of nature can be solved? If we don't agree on this, we can't move forward with whatever it is we are doing. All that we escape from, that is the gate to entry. Anonymous. Passing through the gates of the undoable by doing things or not doing things. Do you pass through the gates of the undoable by doing things or not doing things? If time is universal, then the mind is absolute, and there's an absolute truth or reality. Do you believe time is universal? We are not gods, but it does feel like gods. It does feel like God when we make each other feel like gods. but the mind is the only tool to understand the reality of progress. Empirical cognitive ontology. This simple word means provable philosophy or proven philosophy, which can be a strong or solid basis for every SM and SM into brackets, or that is standard model and scientific method. Desist the controlling of thoughts. Since questions are answer-seeking algorithms, questions and answers simulate consciousness. Questions and answers create consciousness, limit it, and prolong its limits. They are necessary for consciousness, remembering caveats and storing memories and ideas. Questions provide answers and hints, while answers are self-seeking probes into questions to find more questions and answers. As they are both open-ended and close-ended, they simulate consciousness by causing the mind to continuously calculate. Imagine a code greater than 1 greater than 1. Greater than 1 less than 1. As a close-ended question, do you exist? Requiring a yes or no answer. Now imagine a code less than 2 greater than as an open-ended question, who are you? The question, do you exist, seeks a definite answer, while who are you seeks a definite answer but leaves it open-ended for the respondent. Asking questions is like initiating an algorithm to find an answer. Answering questions is like stating the solution, which is the reason for the question. Usually, the reason for the question is the answer. The reason one asks a question is their own answer. As for an empty mind, the question is like a new program or language, requiring adaptability to solve or answer. For an empty mind to state the reason for an unknown question, it must listen to the question. It's that simple. Listen to the question, and the empty mind will have no choice but to process it, repeating the question, seeking the answer, and finding the answer the question seeks. The empty mind clicks, realizing it doesn't know, but then deciphers that it cannot not know, since it's asking itself the question. It realizes that since it knows the question, it already knows and has the ability to know. This is strange. The consciousness of the individual is simulated by the question and answer. What if I told you that the limit put to reasoning by the question and answer is only needed for the empty mind's remembrance? It becomes impossible because the unconscious mind, now conscious, seeks unconsciousness. The simulated consciousness given by the question and answer is reasonable because it's a question seeking an answer, and the person asking wants you to know both. However, they may not know or realize it's a repetitive answer seeking algorithm that will be on your mind, marking a point in history or your mind's history, leading to continuous pondering over an answer and a question that was never there until you realize it. I hope you understand. Abracadabra, I create as I speak. The point is, pondering the thoughts of an empty mind leads to questions, either close-ended, such as, is there something, or open-ended, what is there? Changing the fucking First Amendment and taking the citizens' rights to own ammo is like saying someone changed the Independence Declaration speech. It just doesn't make sense. Letter to the unscientific. I'll soon write a letter to the unscientific to prove my despicious standpoint on the irrelevance of such matter. In a bid to bid farewell to what I've known my whole life as the scientific devil, I bid farewell to what I've known my whole life as the scientific devil. For a perchance of perceiving a reality which is so evidently lit up that the light flow is seemingly continuous like a stream of dots aligned to the electric pole. It was, however, not unscientific, nay, for the mere chance of speaking. Hitherto, forthwith, an unscientific truth, or say, what is deemed unscientific, previously directed to the unscientific or for an unscientific reason, unreproductive to any degree of an elite scientific standard, upheld previously and forthwith hitherto come, for lack of a better word, times. It is barely unjustified of a person to thus further conclude that science hath not any benefits for the swelling, if not lambastable, the weak understanding, or punishable, the scientific error, but punishable, the unscientific error. To conclude, I leave the unscientific with this intrication to ponder. If E is equal to mc squared is not a falsifiable conclusion, then how is it freaking possible for a so-called magician to ride the light to its end? To conclude, I might not leave a scientific thought for the unscientific, so as to prove or disprove the nature of what it might be. I am only going to say, had this post been concluded well, we wouldn't have any refrain to go to Maxwell's demon just to get a fairly well-reviewed Occam's razor version of the unscientific truth. We are not saying there is no God, i.e., totally irrelevant. What we are saying is there's no you. The point about God is totally irrelevant